Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman Battle Network Operate Star Force. In the last part we cleared out the fireman scenario and explored the internet around a little bit. And in between parts, I believe at this point I did a little bit of grinding to get not only a couple of dash Gs, but also some guard Gs and guard As, just to make the folder flow a little better from memory. And it's now at this point we can turn in for the day. Whenever you finish a scenario, usually you're meant to come to the bed in order to progress to the next story section. Very rarely does the game take you into the next actual event on its own. Several days after the strange oven explosions... AC/DC Elementary, Dance City. This is the place. Man, how come nobody woke me up? I did a few times, you just didn't get up, Land. What time is it? You got 5 minutes. What about everyone else? They're already at school. Duh! Good job, Lan. Looks like everyone's already in the classroom. Megaman, any new mail? Lan, didn't you hear what I just said? You better get to class quick. Jeez, you have 2 new messages. The first is net new student net crime on the rise. The other one's from Miss Yai. I called your name for you in homeroom, so you owe me one. That Yai. Well, no point hurrying, I guess. Why do I even bother? Because Megaman, if you don't, he's only somehow gonna get worse. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. Student net crime is on the rise at schools everywhere. The reasons for this rise are as yet unknown. Interesting. I'm sure that won't come up at all later on in this very scenario, let alone game. That mail's just for world building. With that said, this is AC/DC Elementary School. There's rooms all over the place you can look in to find things like recover 50 asterisks, which as the name would imply that recovers 50 HP in battle. A lot of these rooms have their purpose for this direct scenario even, but by and large they're just home to maybe additional computers you can go into for some blue mystery data, hidden battle chips like Repair A. What Repair does is that if you have any broken panels on your side of the field, it repairs those at the least. I forget if it repairs everything. I think there's one that does that in the series at some point, but I actually can't recall because unless it's needed for a very particular technique type that we'll see, I think starting 2 parts from now or so, I forget exactly when I do my first one. I never use chips like Repair or another one in this game, Interrupt. They're just not very useful. In fact, in some cases, they're only really useful in multiplayer. You can use this opportunity to go around and explore the school itself, and you can get some good ideas for things ahead of time, because there is key information you can learn for this scenario in these areas, but otherwise you just want to go around and grab things like the Escape H chip. And also, I should note, even though the Escape chips are by and large reduced use if not useless in Operate Star Force due to the run button being implemented, there is still a single use for them all. We'll just get to it later. Panel out 1, what that does is that it knocks out a panel in front of you. Useful for avoiding some attacks, but it doesn't really do damage, if any, from memory in this game. I think it might in later ones. With that said, we really should get Lan to class. Lan! Homeroom started already. Use the back door. But we sit near the front. That's gonna be a problem no matter what. In fact, we are in the front row. Looks like everyone's still in homeroom. Sneak time. How did he make that work? Yeah, I did it! So class, this is Mr. Higsby. He'll be helping me teach class for the next 2 weeks. Hello, I'm Mr. Higsby. I collect battle chips. It's my hobby. I'm looking forward to trading with all of you. Be sure to come to me if you got any rad chips, okay? The new teacher's kinda scary. Not really scary, just sort of weird. I didn't think teachers had hobbies, too. Lan, teachers are people as well. Well, they do say everyone's gotta have a hobby. Everyone, let's give Mr. Higsby a warm welcome, okay? Well now, that's all for homeroom today. And now time to do our usual talk to everyone for information. That teacher gives me the creeps, but maybe I'll trade some shifts with them anyway. Is that pity or honor? They used to write on blackboards with this chalk stuff, and then you had to wipe it with a big eraser. Yucky! Now you just have to jack in your PET and have your Navi erase it. Look, don't talk to me right now. I'm working on yesterday's homework. Mood. That Mr. Higsby sure is a strange teacher. How is virus busting? Something really odd happened. What? Well, I had selected 3 cannons, see? The 3 chips all flashed and changed into a rare chip. I was a little scared at first, of course. The chip, funny, seemed to return to normal after that. What she and this particular MC are talking about is the same mechanic I foreshadowed a moment ago, and again, I'll get more into that when I get it. Just know that 3 cannons is probably the easiest way to do it, but they have to be in consecutive codes. For instance, A through C, B through D, things of that nature. Man, that weirdo's gonna be our new teacher? That blows. Should we challenge Dex to a net battle? Why not? You better wait till I can upgrade Guts, man. Okay? I understand why you can challenge Dex here, even if you've already fought him, because this could be a good chance to fight him first if you haven't already. But having the option there when you can't do it at all really does feel dated, I guess is the best way to put it. If this was a modern RPG, they probably wouldn't give you that option so you can actually challenge him again. Hey, the teacher's coming! Well, now, I'd like to begin the first class, huh? Mr. Higsby, where's Miss Mari? Miss Mari? She was sick and went to the nurse's office, huh? What? Quiet, everyone. First class will be study hall, huh? All right. Don't rejoice just yet, huh? I want you all to do math drills. I'll be checking them later. Ah, shucks. Now jack into the blackboard. Huh. All right, everyone. Good luck. You're not going to stay to watch and make sure we do our work? Man, you're a bad teacher. Man, math is hard, especially in the morning. Ah, what's that? We'll now announce the real goal of our plan, to control the net. Lan, this is a World 3 re-education program. World 3's true plan is to start a war. The end game. We will take control of the military net and all other nets. The only cure for this rotten world is deletion. No! Why would they do that? To reach our goals, World 3 is hiring new staff members. We'll begin a new instruction program starting today. Children, study well and become good slaves for World 3. What? No way, man. Not me. Oh no, I can't turn my terminal off. Hey, the door's locked. Everyone be calm. Me and Guts Man will stop him. Really? Isn't he still in the process of getting upgraded? Dex, how are you going to make that even remotely work? I can hear the announcement playing in the next room. Somehow they took over the entire school network. This is a school jacking. Impressive. We're stuck in here for good, it looks like. Somebody stop this announcement! This announcement must have played in the other schools too. That's what's making the net crime rate go up everywhere. I'm so shocked that information brought up this scenario is happening this scenario. We need to use a lock program to open the electrical locks. I guess that is your job then, Dex. Lan, I know how you feel, really. But you better let me handle this one. Check it out! Me and Guts Man are the bomb. Are you sure about that? Dex, I don't think you'll be able to do it alone. Let's go, Guts Man. Maybe you should let Lan... Quiet! I'm trying to concentrate. Jack in! Guts Man, go! Here those viruses come. Ha ha ha! Whoa, hey, what the, hey! Ah, yikes! Help! So how'd it go? They got him. Dex, do you have a backup? Yeah. That's a relief. Okay, Lan, you're up. Show us your stuff. Lan, please. Let's do it, Lan. Okay, fine. Megaman, let's go for it. Before we do, though, make sure you talk to Mail here. Don't be too hard on Megaman. He's one of your friends, too. If you want, you can bring my Navi Roll with you. I'm sure she can help out Megaman, somehow. This is Roll R, our first Navi chip. Navi chips, if I were to compare them to something closer to a more traditional RPG, are like summons from Final Fantasy, in that they summon the character in question to do an attack of some sort, sometimes have a secondary effect, things of that nature. While Roll's R code is limiting with my current folder, to put it lightly, the fact that it's an attack that also heals helps a lot. The net looks so different. World 3 must have done this. We'll have to fix the net later. Megaman. First, let's find the program locking the doors. Roger. Welcome to the school net. I hate this place. Going down from here, you'll see the door lock. Normally you can get there quite easily, but currently there are breaks in the net. Thank you for your help the other day. Someone had hacked into the server in the teacher's lounge. If you're going that way, be careful of viruses. Gotcha, that's actually our end destination if I recall. Also, very odd thing about the school comp network, it's technically using the game's main theme. Before I go into that, by and large, we're not going to be seeing too many new viruses in the school computer. What you're going to be seeing a lot in here are the Metars that we've seen thus far, Flappies, Canodoms, and B-Tanks. We do start getting some new viruses like Spookies as you progress, but the only new virus in here, I believe, doesn't spawn until at least School Comp 4. Out of, like, School Comp 5 or 6? So it's gonna be a bit. But yeah, this is technically the game's main theme playing here, and you can tell because eventually the series' main theme, at least for the original 3 games, kicks in during the latter half of the song. It's a good version of the theme, at least, but why is it here? This is just kind of a weird place to put it, to the point where when this song plays again later on as the quote-unquote hero theme, as they tend to be called in the series, it's weird. Going back to Roll's battle chip, though, the way it works is that she pops down on the field wherever Megaman is when you summon her, and then homes in on the nearest enemy. In this case, she would attack the Flappy rather than the B-Tank, or the boss fight, just period, as long as they're visible. She then attacks them for 60 damage, and I think heals 30 HP. I actually don't recall because I seldom use her. Her battle chips aren't awful, especially for early game summons, but there's usually like 1 or 2 Navi chips per game that are just outright better than all the others because of their potential damage output and stuff. More on that later, though, because for right now, it's time for the main mechanic of this scenario. This door is password protected. Door will not open without proper authorization. Passcode hint, number of chairs in 5A. We have to enter a passcode, huh? Lan, how many chairs are in the classroom for 5A? Hang on, I'll go check. When you find out, hit the L button. Then I'll input the passcode. Alright, the puzzles for this scenario are pretty straightforward. You get a hint, you go to the hint, you count, and you give Megaman the count. In this case, every classroom in the game has exactly 9 chairs in it. Thanks, Lan. Right on. We did it. Lan, the doors should open now. Thanks. I'll get everyone outside. And now we're allowed to progress on through all the same. The hints do get a little more obscure. Sometimes you have to outwardly investigate something in order to get the hint you need for whatever. But by and large, this isn't a very hard scenario puzzle-wise, until one particular point, but more on that when we actually get there, because they change up how things work a little bit. Something I do find funny about this area, though, coming back to it, that NPC we talked to, I believe, a moment ago, talked about sometimes it looks to be the long way is the correct way to go. And obviously that's just generally sometimes good life advice, but in this game it's a bit more literal. Sometimes what looks to be the long way is still the right way to go. With that said, the map kind of makes that a potential non-issue in some cases because it shows you the way you might need to go ahead of time. With that said, we're coming up on the next little password we need to find, and this one's pretty straightforward from memory. Library data locked for preservation. Passcode required for entry. Hint, number of volumes of History of the World. Lan! So we need to find out how many volumes of History of the World there are. Alright, be right back. Puzzles like this are why it's generally a good idea to explore the school on your first run, even if you are the type to just go straight to your destination anyway. You can learn some good stuff. With that said, at this point we can also explore some other rooms on this floor of the school. We can't go to lower ones yet because they're still locked. And there are some potential dialogues you can find in here, some chips like a spreader J. I've already talked about what spreader does. That is the 30 over the entire enemy field. Well, a group of 9 panels at least. At least I think I have. I actually can't remember because I'm recording the latter half of this particular episode at a later date than all of the earlier episodes from memory. So, whoops. With that said, there are 30 volumes of the world, so we can just give it right in. And I should note, you don't actively need to investigate things to get these passcodes. You can just go right on in. With that said, that's not the case for every single door puzzle in this area, such as this next one. This door is passcode protected. Door will not open without proper authorization. Passcode hint, none. What? No hints? Well, let's just try anything.
Input passcode? Yes. Welcome to trial and error. You need to input a passcode completely randomly. Some people like to start at 50 and then work their way in halves, but I prefer to work starting from 43. This is also what speedrunners do from memory. It'll tell you if your passcode is too low, too high, and if you're correct on one of the digits, which digit you are wrong on. So in this case, passcode too low, second digit verification failure. So 40 is correct, but it's not 43. In this case, we want to go up to 45 because that is a good group of 2 up. You want to go in groups of 2 or 3 up or down until you can narrow it down. If your work is into the 10s, you often want to go up in groups of 20 to 30 at a time, if I recall correctly. There's entire algorithms on how people figure this stuff out, why this is the fastest way to go. I'd recommend looking it up. I believe Teraj was the one who did a lot of look for that, T-Teraj on Twitch. I only know him because I've talked with him briefly in Smog BN's chat. And hey, if you're watching this for some reason, Smog, hey, how you doing? Turk here, sort of. Moving forward, though, this is going to be the door we're going to see a lot in here. Because, by and large, they ran out of things for you to investigate. There's a couple of cases where we won't have to, but this is what we're going to see for a lot moving forward. If you get it wrong over and over again, I think after 7 failures, the passcode resets. But otherwise, it's just trial and error. You get it down eventually, it might take a while, but it might be instant, who knows? Now, something I do find interesting, going on to a different topic, is how the series handles the roll chip, by and large. Because in Battle Network 1 and 2, the way it works is that it is a flat damage cap. We do 6 damage to start. But in Battle Network, I think 3 or 4 beyond, it does 3 hits of a lower number to equate the same. So it does 3 hits of 20 on roll 1, for instance. And I can't help but wonder if that's because they realized they can make roll more powerful without being busted. Because Battle Network 2 Beyond introduces chips known as the Attack Plus chips, which boosts a partnered chip that it goes after by the specified amount. In this case, like usually like Attack Plus 10, plus 30, plus 50. And it powers up each of those individual shots. So say you put 2 Attack Plus 10s with a roll 1, it would do, let's see, that is 40 times 3. That does 120 damage. And they gave it a really good buff without being overbearing with it, and I've always found that interesting, because it's not often they outright change how a battleship works completely throughout this series. Usually, maybe it's some bug fixes and minor damage tweaks at the most. With that said, we are now moving into School Comp 4, and this is interesting in that as long as you've done the exploration of the areas as I have in the game thus far, this is probably the only school computer you're going to find a completely new enemy in, the Handy. 80 HP, they only do 30 damage, I believe, through contact, but their attack is to move to the front row of their particular side of the field, wherever it may be, and drop a bomb on the front row of yours that counts down from 3. When that counts down, it explodes and does damage. I don't think it does 30. I think it does more than that, but I can't quite remember. They are in particular in control of the time bomb line of ships. They have J and L codes from memory. Oh, Lan! What's wrong? Sorry, I'm stuck in a trap. I can't move. Where are you? Near the AV room. Sorry. Don't worry, I'll check it out. And if memory serves, this is the last time we actually have to go somewhere. Thankfully, we're right next to the AV room. Sorry. Wait! What's going on? Welcome to the AV room, where there's not much to actually do here. With that said, I'm not exactly sure how they want you to find what you have to investigate, besides just investigating everything in the room. You want to investigate the, assuming top left is north, the very southeastern desk to fix it. Lan! Thanks. Told you I'd get you out. Going back to the time bomb chips, though, because I was rudely interrupted by the game's plot. Yeah. That does the same thing. It places the time bomb, I believe. I forget if it's in front of you or randomly on the enemy's field. Counts down from 3 and then does, I believe, 100 damage? It's pretty powerful. It's just very limiting. And given that you have to beat battles fast in order to get the best output a lot of the time, sometimes it's useful for that. Sometimes it's not. It really depends on what viruses you're fighting. With that said, the J and L codes for Time Bomb 1 are far from my favorite. I'd say I seldom use either of those in this game. As for when they drop those and what, handies will drop 110 zenny from 1 to 3 Buster rank, 130 on 4 and 5, 150 on 5, 6, and 7, 200 on 7 and above. But they'll drop Time Bomb J 25% of the time at rank 7, 50% of the time at 8 through S, and Time Bomb L at about 6% at rank 8, 12% at rank 9, 25% at rank 10, and 50 at rank S. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, I think I actually numbered these recording files a little bit differently, so I forget exactly what video we're on. We're going to get towards the end of this school scenario and hopefully make sure that our kids don't get brainwashed. See you guys then!